Hi, you're watching Dog Ear Musings, and today I'm doing a book review on the horror YA novel called The Honeys by Ryan La Sala. So, like always, check the trigger warnings before reading if you're interested. But with that said, let's get into it. So, The Honeys was a book that got a lot of, sorry, don't hate me, buzz on Instagram last year, and it got so much attention that De La Sala actually was nominated and won an award, and this book will actually be adapted into a movie. I believe rumors are saying either this year or next. And I'm really excited to see what the adaptation will look like. So who is Ryan La Sala? So De La Sala is a self-proclaimed queer cottagecore sci-fi horror and thriller enthusiast who has written a bunch of videos and information on self-publishing, as well as the publishing industry and how people can get involved and get published. So what is The Honeys about? The Honeys focuses a gender-fluid, non-binary character. Their name is Mars, and Mars and their family have kind of had a really rocky start to their summer, especially following the mysterious death of Mars's sister, who passes away in an accident. Now, Mars's family is really wanting to leave the cause of Mars's death alone and to not delve further into why Mars's sister passed away. And Mars is really driven, though, in the opposite direction. They really want to know more about it, especially focusing on this group of mysterious girls who their sister was seen hanging out around and the summer camp that they all attended. So what were the cons of this story? So for me, I was thinking specifically about the dialogue, which uses a lot of flowery language, and I was kind of taken out of it because I think that some of the unnatural ways that the characters spoke with each other had me thinking that it was a bit unrealistic. Another thing that kind of took me out of this book were we'll just leave it at that because I feel like that was mean enough. A pro, though, on the completely opposite side of that was, again, Ryan De La Sala's use of flowery language. Now, where it kind of felt a little lacking in dialogue, where I think De La Sala really wins is in setting up a scene. So in thinking about his dream-like setting and how De La Sala uses flowery writing to describe that, I thought it was really vivid and surreal and beautiful, and especially his use of language to describe all of that. And I also thought that his flowery use of language was really interesting when thinking about his really brutal and graphic scenes of body horror, that he kind of uses the flowery language to kind of juxtapose the brutality that some of his characters have to go through. And I thought this was done very well. Now, what are some read-alikes? Now, I think that there are definitely themes of Carrie in this book, specifically themes that focus on conformity. Why did I say that so weird? That focus on conformity and social expectations and bullying. I think that there are themes such as gender that are explored in here that one could analyze within King's work. And one could also analyze in the early 90s cult classic, The Heathers, which focuses on a group of really mean girls and also focuses on another young girl who is played by Winona Ryder. It's all about the kind of weird girl going against the mean clique, and it focuses again on conformity and bullies, but is done so in kind of like a horror campy way. I definitely had those vibes when thinking about the Honeys. I definitely was thinking about the Heathers. Another movie that came to mind was the movie Midsommar. That I feel like I don't need to describe what Midsommar is about. I feel like if you haven't watched the movie but have been an adult person or a young person walking around in the world right now, you know what this movie is about. But that kind of like weird Nordic vibes, cabin in a cult kind of experience was something that was definitely in De La Sala's work. How do I feel ultimately about the Honeys? Now, there were some plot points that I still have questions about and I have my gripes with, but I don't want to get into them because I don't want to make any spoilers, especially with a movie coming out soon. But I am excited to see how the movie adapts those things, and maybe they won't really feel like missing plot points in the movie. What I really loved about this book was that it was a fun take on old themes, and I thought that De La Sala did that in a really new and exciting way. De La Sala talks about conformity, gender, expectations, and shame, which I think are all really interesting themes that lend themselves really well within the horror genre. And I thought it was a really interesting take and a really, really intriguing setting to kind of follow within. Ultimately, like I keep saying, I'm excited to see how this movie turns out. That's been it for this review of Dog-Eared Musings. I'm Monika. Happy reading.